Humans are certainly influencing the climate, and human influences are growing as carbon dioxide in the atmosphere grows.
That means heat waves get longer, storms get stronger, flood maps expand. And if Tesla builds their tiny house, what would many buyers have to expose after 5 years? So today, we will take a realistic look at some invisible sides of a Tesla tiny house in 5 years. These are what most buyers have to face. Let's dive in. 1. How would structural wear after 5 years expose the real build quality of a 2026 Tesla tiny house? Take thermal stress. In 2025, Phoenix logged more than 50 days above 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Meanwhile, parts of the Midwest still drop below 0 degrees Fahrenheit in winter. That swing matters. Every 110 degrees Fahrenheit afternoon and 25 degrees Fahrenheit winter night forces expansion and contraction across steel fasteners, window frames, sealants, and wood framing. In a Tesla tiny house's expected compact 200 to 300 SQFT structure, there's less mass to absorb that movement. Tolerances are tighter. Small shifts show up faster as door misalignment, hairline cracks, or seal fatigue. Now think about moisture. In places like Houston and Tampa, outdoor humidity routinely sits above 70%. In a small interior volume, one shower without strong ventilation can spike indoor humidity quickly. Over 5 years, repeated condensation around windows and roof seams can lead to mold behind cabinetry or soft spots in subflooring. Not from a catastrophic leak, from accumulation, in which typical mold remediation jobs in 2025, depending on scope, and even small, targeted cleanup often costs a few $1,000s. And there's also insulation. The performance of a tiny house depends heavily on installation quality and long-term moisture control. In places like Austin or Las Vegas, where summer temperatures can stay above 100 degrees Fahrenheit for weeks, even small gaps or moisture intrusion can reduce effectiveness over time. What does that mean in real life? Your AC runs longer. It cycles more often. Your interior feels less stable in late afternoon heat. And a higher runtime means earlier wear. Replacing a compact, ductless heating and cooling system in the U.S. today can easily cost several $1,000s, including installation. That's not a design failure in year 1. That's accumulated stress showing up in year 5. Then there's the chassis. A trailer frame exposed to coastal air in Florida or road salt in upstate New York will begin to show surface corrosion within a few winters if coatings aren't robust. 5 years won't collapse the structure, but it will reveal whether corrosion protection was engineered for real U.S. climates or optimized for weight and cost. So here's something I'm genuinely curious about. Which one worries you more over 5 years? Heat expansion or moisture damage? Just type heat or moisture in the comments. I type moisture. How about you? And if this kind of long-term expectation is useful to you, please subscribe and turn on notifications. I'm aiming for the first 27 sharp minds who care about durability in real life. 2. How would you? Climate extremes. Stress test. A 2026 Tesla tiny house after 5 years. If you live in Texas, Arizona, or Florida, you've already felt the pattern. In 2025, parts of Texas saw long stretches above 105 degrees Fahrenheit, and Phoenix stayed above 100 degrees Fahrenheit for weeks. When nights don't cool down, a 200 to 300 SQFT Tesla tiny house holds heat with very little buffer. That means longer AC runtime, higher power bills, and faster system wear. In hot regions, cooling alone often runs about $800. And let's take hurricanes next. Category 3 winds reach 111 to 129 miles per hour. In a lightweight structure on a trailer chassis, anchoring is survival, not a detail. If the design prioritizes mobility and low weight, the anchoring system has to compensate with stronger tie-downs, deeper anchors, sometimes even a reinforced pad. That's real added cost, and insurers price for wind exposure, not square footage. In many Florida counties in 2025, average premiums exceeded $6,000 per year because insurers price based on hurricane exposure. not just home size. And next is wildfires. In California, it has destroyed structures through wind-driven embers, not direct flame. That makes materials and sealing critical. If ember-resistant components aren't standard, upgrades aren't cheap. Insurance availability itself can become a challenge in certain zip codes. Mobility sounds like freedom, but evacuation requires the right truck, open roads, and time you may not have. Flood exposure in parts of Texas and the Southeast also poses weather threats. Federal flood maps now classify more areas as high-risk zones. A structure on wheels doesn't automatically escape rising water. Elevation, grading, and placement determine the outcome. Flood insurance, if required, becomes an ongoing cost variable. After 5 years, climate exposure shows up in electricity bills, insurance premiums, retrofits, and the logistics of reacting under pressure. That's the real stress test. 3. How realistic is mobility for a 2026 Tesla tiny house in the United States? Mobility sounds simple. Put a tiny house on wheels and move when you need to. But in the U.S., mobility is defined by weight ratings, truck capability, and state law. A typical tiny house on wheels in the U.S. weighs between 8,000 and 18,000 pounds, depending on materials and build quality. If a 2026 Tesla tiny house lands anywhere in that range, towing capacity becomes the first filter. Many half-ton pickup when properly configured. That means some buyers would need a 3/4-ton truck to move it safely. That's a 60,000 vehicle, not something everyone in Phoenix or Tampa already owns. Dimensions matter too. In most states, including California and Texas, the legal maximum trailer width without a special permit is 5 feet, and height is commonly capped at around 5 feet to clear overpasses. If the design stretches those limits for more headroom or loft space, you're no longer casually relocating. You're dealing with route planning and potential permitting. And then there's frequency. Most owners don't move a tiny house every month. They park it, they connect utilities, they stabilize it. Relocating means disconnecting everything. Securing interiors, checking weight distribution, and mapping routes to avoid low bridges or restricted roads. Mobility sounds simple on paper. In practice, it's a logistical operation. Over 5 years, truck upgrades, permit considerations, storage fees, insurance adjustments when moving across counties. That's the invisible side of mobility. A Tesla tiny house could look revolutionary on day one, but over 5 years, durability, climate exposure, and mobility constraints define ownership. Time exposes engineering. These invisible sides are what most owners expose. What matters most to you? Share with me below.